with that, like I remember like the first couple tracks I made, I was like, oh, like this is so good. And then I'd send it to one of my boys. He's like really proficient producer, and he's like, this is absolute dog shit.
To me, that's having the community that we have here in New York, and that's my favorite thing. And having those people around to critique you, to help you, to inspire you, it's so important. And that's why I think New York is the best. We bonded. We went to space in Miami,
like every weekend.
Yeah, the first time. Then we were like,
well, I brought you there the first time you were.
Yeah, and we were there for like way too long than we should have.
I don't know if that's true.
We were breaking records.
You're supposed to be at space for a long time.
Yeah.
It's nice to, like, he's my best friend, so it's like nice to be able to not only work with your best friend, but just get to do really fun stuff together.
Yeah. Zach, Wyatt, thanks for coming over to Tiny Table Radio. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. First thing I noticed about you two is your Instagram bios have a lot going on, right? The founders of a record label, Zero Gravity, partners in all of these different things. But the first place I really want to start is, how did you two get into DJing and producing, and what brought you two together?
I always had this love for music, obviously, and particularly these melodic-driven music. I didn't really know that dance music existed, or house music, and I discovered it. I went to like my first Ultra 2010. It was like, oh my God. Opened up a whole new world, bought my first controller, and then kind of just spiraled from there. We actually met back in high school. He was DJ at a party I went to. I was like, oh, I have the same controller. Like, we bonded over that. That's kind of how we first met. And then I didn't see him for, 10, 12 years.
It was a while. We didn't end up reconnecting until quarantine. We were both in Florida, escaping the cold. Ended up just like serendipitously meeting each other again, and then going out to a bunch of shows. And then, both of us had the same kind of love for music, and ended up just deciding to combine our projects, and it kind of just flourished from there.
Yeah. Because really, I think having someone else to DJ with in production, mainly for me, because I was having a hard time sitting down and
I get tunnel vision.
I got bad ADD,
So
having someone else there, especially, the late nights, and, it can be a lot of wear and tear if you're alone, and like it can affect you mentally. And so having someone else there is really, it's comforting in a way. So
yeah, for sure. I'd say especially since now we've been traveling more so for DJing.
Yeah.
It's nice to, like, he's my best friend. So it's like nice to be able to not only work with your best friend, but just get to do really fun stuff together.
Yeah. Certainly a lifestyle that's not the norm.
It's not for the faint of heart, for sure. Yeah.
Did you meet in Florida? You guys both grow up there, or?
I lived there until I was 11, and then I moved to New York.
Okay.
So I've been here my whole life. I mean, I went to school in Boston and was there for 8 years, and then moved back here. He was already here when I was looking for apartments. I remember I was like, all right, I'm going to make sure I find a place that's like within a 6-block radius of where you live. No, we've known each other for a long time, but I'd say we like became really tight over quarantine.
I feel like that brought a lot of people.
You got nothing else to do,
right?
So,
it was like we bonded. We went to space in Miami,
like every weekend.
Yeah, the first time. Then we were like,
well, I brought you there the first time you were.
Yeah, and we were there for like way too long than we should have. It was, but classic.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true.
We were breaking records.
You're supposed to be in space for a long time.
Yeah.
I've done a Friday to Monday.
Honestly,
I mean, that's a normal weekend.
So at events and raves like that it's their lifetime. So like,
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's also where we kind of started leaning towards the music we make now.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I remember when I first started listening to electronic music, also going off of like, I've always been like musically inclined. I played piano growing up, and my parents always loved music, or had like, would show us like music from every single kind of era.
Mm-hmm.
And so you start to kind of take all these different things and create kind of your own opinion and your own love for it. I guess like going to space and just hearing all these different sounds, but also specifically like this kind of 90s style tech house that like Marco Carolla or like Loco Dice, that kind of stuff really, really got us going. And just being able to like implement all these different sounds from like 90s hip hop or like just pop culture in general, and then tying it into this like minimal rolling bass and just like really sharp percussion. Like we just really liked that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's one of the most popular sounds in house music right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even, I was talking to Karen, like how my wife, and how our sounds have evolved, and like what we've kind of, how it's pivoted a little bit here and there, but the backbone of all of it has always been some type of, nostalgic, like 90s, either synth or vocal or both. And just like what she likes to call like a booty bumping bass line.
Yeah.
Like, that's, I don't know. That's I think one of the best ways to describe it. So would you guys say that's similar to the sound that you guys have now, or how's that evolved?
It's, I think right now, some of our friends and what we're seeing, like, I think like a lot of it's 90s ravey, like
a lot of organ.
Yeah, like
organ or like
stuff, but
like Moog style synth, stuff like that.
It's a very particular sound that's like coming. It's not necessarily tech house, but it's like progressive-y. It's hard to nail it down, but we will see.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's funny too because like I think a lot of people were, and I think Rossi did an interview on this where it was like, a lot of people didn't want to be labeled tech house for a little bit because there's like there's older connotation. Like that's why I was referring to like Marco Carolla because he has like a very specific sound when it comes to tech house.
Yep.
And then obviously you have like your Fishers and your Chris Lakes and I think like especially with like Dirty Bird, there was this whole American movement towards tech house and then kind of this different vibe that was created with it and different sounds that were brought in. And I think it was also like around the time that dubstep was really popular here. So you start hearing a lot of different sounds with that same booty bumping kind of bass line. Yeah. But it was kind of a marriage of everything. And like, I think when you say tech house, like a lot of people going back to that Rossi thing is like a lot of people were saying like, oh, like I do minimal. And I think we said that for a little bit too, because inherently I think we do like minimal music where it's like, you don't need that much going on. You just need that one like element that you really like.
It's just like music that you can just get in the pocket and just go
exactly
for 8, 10,
but I think
hours.
There's so many different subgenres now.
Yeah.
That, like, it's almost hard we kind of sit down and make whatever we feel at that moment. So it's kind of hard to say we do something specifically because, 90% of the stuff we make, we never end up putting out.
Right.
Yeah. So, I think we kind of hit a bunch of different avenues with that.
Sure. When did you two get into producing?
4 years ago?
Yeah, so he's been producing longer than I have.
Yeah.
Again, like I always kind of felt it when I tried to do it alone. I had a hard time like sitting down and focusing, and so having him around, I was using Ableton, and he's using.
I use a really out there DAW
than most people use. So, but we've come to love it. So, it's been like 4 years now, and it's been good.
Yeah. And I want to say like, it's funny. Like I remember like, especially being friends with so many people who are like doing really well in the scene now. We were lucky to be able to like share our music with those people and get critiqued on it early on. And I think if we didn't have that, I don't know if we'd be at the production level that we've gotten to now. With that, like I remember like the first couple tracks I made, I was like, oh, like this is so good. And then I'd send it to one of my boys. He's like really proficient producer. And he's like, this is absolute dog shit. And it's because like,
put it politely.
But it's like, like I think if you love music and you know how music works, like as far as composition, you know how to like make a track, the sounds that you want in it, but it's about giving each sound space and the mixing of it and like making it sound good.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. Like I don't think we started liking our own music until 2 years, 2.5 years.
Yeah, it's like it takes time,
like,
right? And to get used to each other, and you got to find your own sound.
Yeah.
It takes time, but it's a journey. It's an evolution, right? Just like your taste and how things change.
For sure.
Yeah,
time,
exactly.
And feedback is so important.
Constructive criticism.
To me, that's having the community that we have here in New York. That's my favorite thing about everything that so far and I've experienced in this industry and working with you and having those people around to critique you, to help you, to inspire you, right? It's so important.
Yeah.
And that's why I think New York is the best. So
let's switch gears a little bit and, tell me about, not only do you DJ and produce, but also you have a couple of other things going on. One of them being Zero Gravity.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the origin story there? How did that come about?
One of my best friends from middle school, again, we were at Space. And
all good things start in space.
And we were, just talking, and we were like, we should just start doing this. And, you know, initially I don't think we understood like everything like that entails, like the organization and obviously the booking process and the money behind it and finding spots and like, you know, getting sponsors and everything involved. But we just really wanted to like make something our own. And we had such a specific taste in music that we were like, okay, you know, there's all these different kinds of, and it was kind of
in Manhattan. It was in Manhattan in particular. So
yeah,
we were
Manhattan
trying to bring
specifically.
a certain sound there. So.
Yeah.
And like, you know, it's something we saw predominantly in Miami or in Brooklyn. And like in Manhattan, you didn't really see it around a lot. And I think it's like kind of poked its head out sometimes in Manhattan. And we just wanted to bring that sound. And book the artists that we really liked or the up and comers, like we just found randomly on SoundCloud or Bandcamp. Be like, just reach out to them, even if they didn't have a manager or an agent yet. You know, it was like we're like, hey, we don't even care. We'll sell the tickets. We'll bring all the people. We just want to hear you play.
Nice.
And it kind of just started off with that, and then we started doing bigger events and you know building your contact list. And I think that's where it kind of, at least for me, went into the transition of, okay, I know how this business works as far as the event side. I want to move into the business of like the club side and ownership side.
Yeah, and that's, I think that unbeknownst to us at the time, I think it's, and now we know, I think it's so important to experience different verticals within the industry, right? So whether it's like the managerial side, the artist side, the events organized, the promoter side. So to dip your toes into each, you know, lever is so important because it really, to understand everything makes you, it's so much more.
It makes you well-rounded.
Yeah. And it's a complicated industry, obviously. There's a lot of stuff going on. So understanding everything it's to your benefit.
Do you guys feel like that's helped you as artists in terms of when you're going into a show or venue and understanding how many moving parts there are and just like
100%.
How to approach it and how to even potentially be compassionate when there's something goes wrong or like, you know, there's something missing from the rider or the gear's a little off or like the lighting's a little off. Like, you know, I'm sure it gives you a bit more of that perspective because you have to do it yourself. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Things operate in a very particular way. So being able to expect and then understand when things do go wrong or how to, you know, talk to someone or reach out to someone when you want to get booked or how to respond. It's, it's something that you need to get used to and to, you know, figure out how things work. So it's really important. Yeah.
From the production end or running an event end, do you guys have any horror stories of like any artists or any, you know, any element of it that's just like,
I mean, I don't want to get into specifics, but
there's been a couple artists that we've worked with that were hellish.
Or even I would even say on the DJ side too, like there have been people we've looked up to and like ended up
Don't meet your heroes. Yeah.
But like, I'd say there's situations where, like, you know, they say don't meet your heroes, that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, we've definitely had horror stories when it comes to events, like whether it's, you know, DJ showing up late or like our production's not, you know, fully together, anything, you know, something can happen, but that kind of teaches you to have redundancies. And, you know, maybe we should hold on to that extra speaker or we should probably have a third CDJ, you know, like that kind of thing.
Or, you know.
But you learn as you go, you know, fail forward.
Since you have run into these horror stories and met the heroes maybe you shouldn't have met, what makes someone great to work with on that end versus someone who's like, wish I wouldn't have met my hero?
It's honestly, I think it's like a smaller amount of people we've met that we like are like, wow, they were like an absolute prick. And most of them, like in this community, like it's kind of like, you end up talking to them and then you're like, same. You know, it's like,
for sure.
You know, we all got into this for the same reason. You know, I think that's why we're so excited for ADE, where it's like, you know, we get to, you know, you're grabbing coffee with all these guys and just like hanging out, going to these small little pop-ups. And it's kind of what it's all about at the end of the day. It's about like again, coming back to it, like that communal aspect or just like hanging out, you know?
Most people are down to earth and are like-minded. So it's rare to have the people that aren't, you know,
I would say they're outliers.
They're outliers.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I don't want to put you guys on the spot. I was just thinking
there's one more thing I'll put on top of that where it's like before I started producing, I didn't realize how many like touring DJs actually didn't produce their own music. Like did a lot of ghost production stuff like that. And that was always, once I learned that, it was like mind blowing to me, because what I was told why I wanted to do it is like, oh, like I want to have something that's like my own. Like I want to be able to create something that's my own.
Right. Yeah.
And you have your own like little perspective on it. It's like, okay, like I have this idea in my brain. I just don't know how to put it down on paper.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you meet some people and you'll have a conversation and be like, oh, like, to use this plugin, like I listened to this track, like I heard your cutoff, like how'd you do that? Like, and then they don't have an answer for you. And like, you don't produce. So it's like almost like this knowledge base you have now that like you can kind of like suss people out with.
Yeah.
But it's also, if you put like 5 producers in a room for a pregame, it's like so annoying for everybody else.
Which we have done, yeah.
Because all we do is show each other our music, and they're like, "Oh,
Really?
That
I know
snare
what,
was
yeah,
like, yeah,
like,
it's so funny.
it's so funny."
So let's switch into like a bit more from production into the actual label you guys have.
Yeah.
DJing Purpose.
Yeah.
So have you two released on that, or is that just where you're trying to sign other artists, or a little bit of both?
I think it started off just us, because we would either have a track that like wouldn't like, you know, we were trying to get through and we knew it was good. It just like wasn't hitting a certain, like we wanted to be on a certain label. We maybe didn't get that target label. You know, it might be a time of year where you think the track really fits and you're like, well, why don't we just release it ourselves? But if you just do a normal self-release, it doesn't really have the same hit.
Yeah.
And so we were like, okay, let's start a label, and then the tracks that we just know we want to put out, and like at when we want to put it out, and also we want to not have to deal with contracts or anything crazy like that. Like we can do it whenever we want, and it's ours.
Right.
And then it got to a point where like, okay, like we're getting some pretty good traction with this.
And people started
Started
saying, hey,
submitting to us, and we were like, okay, we should probably start signing tracks now.
Yeah.
So we started signing tracks like, I don't know, 6 months ago, not even that long ago.
Yeah, it's actually very recent. So
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we have releases on there. I think one or two other artists. We're still early on.
We have 2 others right now. We have a big schedule ahead though. Like we have like 10 tracks we really like that we're going to be putting out over the next year.
Nice.
It's nice though, because like I feel a lot of, and we have a lot of other friends that are starting their own labels, like Fat Tracks, like they're crushing it.
Those guys are
a
great.
lot of like the bigger labels, and this is just my opinion, but it's they have this mold, right? It's like all the songs sort of have to sound a certain way to get you know signed by this label, and I think for us it's like we don't, you know, I don't give a shit what it is. Like if it's a reflection of us, right? It could be garage, it could be tech house, it could be, you know, minimal, it could be anything, but it's nice to have some. It's like we can kind of choose, right? We have the freedom to do that. It's like it's a reflection of us, which is nice.
But it also comes down to, I think, like if we don't think we'd play it, then I don't really think it's going to go. And like, but when it comes to DJing, it's also that thought process where, you know, you don't want to go to a set where it's just monotonous the entire time.
Right.
Like you want to be taken on a journey. You want to go across a few different genres. I want some BPM, you know, differences.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the label. You know, it's we want it to be inclusive, but also, you know, speak to like just a diverse sound.
You know, even amongst that diversity, some kind of similar lane or some underlying factor. And it sounds like if I would play it, we'll consider signing it.
It's like more. It's if anything, generally speaking, be like just more underground leaning than anything. If you had to describe it, generally speaking,
you know, if it's like creative and it's like different and fun and it makes me move a little bit side to side, then I'm like, all right, that's it.
You have your own like personal social media accounts, but you also have the DECIMEL, you know, social accounts. You know, how does that factor in when you're thinking of brand or like building your presence? Obviously, like that's just part of the game now.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. So how important is that to you guys?
We've staved it off as long as possible.
It's something that we're not very good at personally, and that because it's just not who we are.
Sure.
And we have a really hard time. Obviously, like you said, it's part of how things are now. And we've faced a lot of the things where it's like you try to get booked somewhere and they're like, how many followers do you have?
Right.
Or like, you know. So we've had many conversations where it's like we have to consciously try to do things and we still struggle at it. Like, so it's been a challenge for us, honestly. That's probably the thing that is our one weak point. That
I think it comes to us wanting to be authentic, and it just feels fake when you do.
Yeah, it feels inauthentic
like,
to us.
Sure.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, I don't want to do something that's following a trend. Like if we've had so many conversations about this, but it's like if we're gonna post something, we want it to be something that's like inherent to ourselves.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, we would actually do that.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I think it's also it's an added bonus that we're just at, like, he's my absolute boy. So it's like, you know, if we were to do something, it'd probably be funny.
Yeah.
And like, just not so serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's difficult because it's kind of, again, it's just not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still a work
We
in
like
progress
we want
on
the
that
music
front.
to speak for itself. We want our
Yeah,
sets to speak
yeah.
for themselves,
So,
but that's just not how, like, you know,
It's just not how it
realistically,
goes
things
these
are.
days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of artists, especially ones who really love production, tend to skew on the more introverted side anyway.
Yeah.
You know, whereas there are a lot of acts, a lot of DJs who are more performer based,
Performative. Yeah.
performative.
Yeah.
And, you know, that is, I think, part of just the entertainment industry as a whole is like, that's just part of the game, whether we like it or not. And,
Yeah.
you know, now everything's about algorithms and if you can take off and, like, you know, build an
and
audience.
I won't
and whatnot.
poo-poo that at all. Like, I get it why people do it. Sorry. I get why people do it. You know, we do this because we love it.
Yeah.
You know,
I do think that, you know, in life things are cyclical, and maybe this is just my hope. I think that it's going to start veering away from the reliance on content.
I think it's
At least
a
I
hot
hope
take.
so. That's my hot take.
That's a hot
That's
take.
my hot take.
That's a
And
hot
I think
take.
I think people, it's like kind of similar to how they feel about social media now, right? It was big, and now people are sort of starting to like reject it, so to speak. I think a lot of younger kids don't like using social media in certain ways, in some ways, other ways not. That's my hot take, and maybe that's just my hope too. But
I think it's a hope.
yeah, no, I
One can dream.
Yeah, exactly.
When more people are just holding a phone up versus dancing on a
Yeah,
dance floor,
I can't
it's like,
stand
Well, that's the
okay.
thing. Like, that's
We
what
do
I'm
a lot
saying.
of
Like, the
no-phone
dance
stuff.
floors are going
Yeah.
no phones, and so like,
There's a lot of that
I think
going on,
There's
yeah.
like some small indications to it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I
We'll
mean,
see.
that's why I respect the Raw Cuts guys so much. And like, I always tell them this. It's like their events are just very like music oriented and communal based. So it's like, all right, like if you really love this artist, come, but like don't disrupt the vibe. Like, we got the video.
yeah.
If you want to watch it, you can come to YouTube in a couple weeks and see it. Like, don't just pull up your phone. Like, just be in the moment.
Yeah.
And I think there's something to be said. Like, I just watched the Seth Troxler thing the other day, whereas he was talking about like the golden era of this, where it was like, you know, it was the outsiders that were going to this event, and it was like a place to be together and like away from the norm. And I think like we kind of got into the scene like even before we started DJing out or anything, but with that idea in mind, where it's like a place to let loose and just be weird and yourself.
Yeah.
And now you see like seas of phones.
Yeah. Well, I think if we pull it back even to the origins of house music and underground music, right?
Yeah.
It was for, you know, communities that weren't recognized as mainstream, like, right? Like, you know, Black and queer communities, right? And it was a place for them to, you know, express themselves and
Be
let
safe.
loose and
Yeah.
be safe and be
Yeah.
inclusive,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And, you know, it's three white guys sitting here talking about this, but at the same time, when you say just be weird and let loose, I think that, you know, a lot of places and a lot of events have kind of lost that.
Well, yeah, you see events with like specific codes, or you have to fill out a form to get invited. It's like,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be like,
There's,
It's
I
supposed to
think
be
maybe
fun.
a little
It's
bit
supposed
of
to
an
be fun. It's supposed to be fun,
Yeah,
like
it's-
weird,
yeah.
like let loose, like
but it is a business too, right? And
Yeah.
like that's where, you know, we could sit here and go back and forth all day on it, but like the, you know, sort of the like bottle and VIP sectioning of, you know, big events and, you know, everyone capturing a specific moment because there's just such a machine behind it.
Yeah.
But that's sort of, I think, where to back to your point of, you know, your hope is that we kind of skew back the other way.
which I think it is.
I think in ways
it
like
is.
that it is, but I don't think when it comes to branding and promotion that it's going to go away. I
Right.
don't think so. I mean, like, dude, think about it. Like, historically, you look at fucking commercials, TV commercials, like people.
No,
still
I know.
like,
I think more and more artists. I'm seeing more and more artists talk about the, like again, like you said, these artists that are being performative, and I think like Nicole Woodward was like,
oh, I love her.
said she called them a clown on some
Yeah,
podcast,
yeah,
and I was
yeah.
like, yeah, and you see more and more people talking about this, and and I think that there's going to be this realization, or just like, okay, like it's back about the music, and it's not about you know, just putting out, you know, stupid or not stupid, but just content around the music. And
Yeah.
it's about the art versus, and that's also a big thing. Art versus
Yeah.
content.
There are
We
some-
don't need to go on a tangent because we can tell this forever. But
we could talk about this for a while. Yeah, I feel like anytime, like we used to do like normal afters a lot. And like now if we do afters, it's usually like we'll come home from a set and we'll put on Entourage or something, and then he and I will just end up going on absolute weird tangents, just having conversations.
Yeah.
And it's just my fiance being like, are you coming back soon? I'm like, we're almost done with this point. We're in an argument, 30 more minutes.
Yeah,
I'll be there.
We can yap.
I'll just get up, let you two talk for a bit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I think these are just like really interesting conversations to have. And
Yeah.
I think we could sit here probably and talk about it for forever. But
Yeah.
I do have a few more questions that I want to
Yeah,
get
of course.
to. So are there any gigs or shows recently that you two have played where, you know, the crowd was really into it, you were vibing with them, they were dancing, there wasn't really a lot of just like phones out?
The Dead Letter, the Cargo Room. I love
yeah.
that room.
Yeah.
I
It's
love
so
that
good.
room.
It's just absolute darkness and just like,
Yeah, it's great. It's back there, and we played there recently, and I think it was the first time that we played there actually, and it was that was our first
that was
time
in
there.
like March, right?
Yeah, and I love that room. And that's probably one of the ones recently that was just like sweaty and like nonstop vibe. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. I would say even like even playing at the Edge, like I think
that was good too. Yeah,
like there were
That was
phones up
different, though.
once in a while. Yeah, it was different. It was honestly just crazy playing that high up. You don't really realize that you're like 100 stories up.
What a view.
Crazy view, yeah. And
it was a perfect night too. So
perfect night, and like, you know, we just you know, we never really put together a specific set list. It's more like we'll do rock, paper, scissors before set,
go off
see
the
who
cuff
goes
every
first,
time.
and then just go off the cuff. And
Love that. The creative process for building a set is, well, you go first, maybe.
No, yeah. So I think
you see where it flows.
Yeah.
It depends. It also
his
depends,
USB
like,
is chaotic though.
yeah,
That's always
it's
like
straight chaos.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's not organized.
like
I
I'm
just
making
have,
a
like-
playlist before every set, and he's just like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna add it to the same playlist. So it could 1,000 long.
Well, like sometimes I'll make if he's really on my ass about it, I'll let you like, oh hey, see, like I made a new playlist for
Yeah.
this, but then I just start using that playlist for like 6 months. and
Right,
then
right.
I'll move on to the next one. But
See the balance of that, the organization, the chaos, right?
Yeah,
it's balance, all about balance.
exactly.
Yeah, and I think with us, that's in our personalities too, right?
Yeah,
He's a little more outgoing and conversational than I am sometimes. So like I think we balance each other.
but it's funny when it comes to production though. I'm the one who's like absolutely dialed in.
Yeah, I have a love for DJing, and I think he loves production a little
Yeah,
more.
I love
Again,
production.
balance.
Yeah.
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 So it's good.
Yeah.
He's such a good idea guy when it comes to production though. It's like on the technical side, it's like that's where I really will come in. But
Yeah.
like a lot of the times he'll have an idea and he'll come in and he'll sit down and like place some sounds. And then I'll like do the mixing and like do all the sound design for things. And then I'll like look at him and be like, this is a really cool idea. Like,
Nice.
like that was cool. But also if I make something like on a plane or whatever and then come home and show it to him, he always listens to it and he'll be like, okay, it needs this, 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 and this. So he'll like end up making a
Those are
stack
eyes
of
and
all
ears.
these
So it's-
Yeah.
ear candy or whatever. Cause I can get a little lost sometimes in just like the core of the song.
Sure.
And like he sees the gaps and like how to add some flair.
Nice.
So I think that's useful to have in a partnership for sure.
Is there a fairly typical way that a song will develop? Like, does one of you always start it, or is it just kind of like, hey, what do you think of this? Or you're just kind of riffing in like a little 8-bar loop, and then just what's that like?
We usually start with an 8-bar.
Yeah.
People I think it to me, and I think we've talked about this.
Yeah.
If you have an idea, like whether that's the bass line or you know the synth layer or whatever it is, you have to start with that idea, get it down, and then build around that.
Mhm.
And it's so important to just like not force anything. You have to let the creativity sort of flow through you and let the song take you wherever it is. And like sometimes you might be resistant to it, but it's going to speak for itself. You
Yeah.
have to just let it happen.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
we've definitely had tracks where it's not working for the first hour, and then all of a sudden, like you find one thing,
Yep.
and it just starts coming
Yeah.
together, and then it's
Yeah.
30 minutes later, and you have a 6-minute long track, and
Yeah.
you're like, how the fuck did that
And
happen?
and it's also like
And-
there's nights where it's like 3 a.m. and we're like, we're tired. Like, but like you can't if you're in the moment and you're feeling it with production, you have to keep going until
Yeah.
you get to a point where
I feel like
it's
that's
like
an
you can-
unspoken like
you have to.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
then
It's
you
like-
come back the next day and it won't feel the same.
Yeah, yeah.
It won't.
well, you won't finish it.
No, yeah, because
We have
it's
thousands of unfinished projects
Yeah.
just because of that.
you have to get it done.
Yeah, yeah.
How long does it typically take you guys to finish a track?
It's much faster now.
I mean, it depends. Like we have a song coming out on this label.
Trifecta.
Hopefully soon. And we found the sounds we wanted. We finished it in like, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours.
Well, completely, like with mixing it down.
And then we've had songs where it takes, we still have, it takes,
we have songs that we're still working on. We've been working on for like a year and a half. It's just like, it's not where we want it to be.
It's so dependent on the moment in the song.
Sure. Yeah. But I do think also like he does this fucking hilarious thing where he has all these voice notes of him just like doing sounds, and then he never sends them to me though, because I think he doesn't want me to have
so
them
many,
because they're so ridiculous. So he'll come over and be like, I had this idea, and it's like boom 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 boom. I'm like, okay.
And it happens like when I'm in bed, right before bed.
So you hear it in your head. You're like, I have to put this down somewhere.
I do the same thing, but like I'll come home and actually like put it down on the software. I don't like record it on my phone, but I do like recording sounds when I'm out, like especially for the background layers. Like it's like that's one thing I don't think I understood in the beginning. And shout out Kai William, you taught me this. But he always has these like really cool. There's like kind of like the vinyl crackle or like the sound of birds outside or something, like the sound
the layers
of subway,
that you don't really notice until you really are.
But it makes
like,
it sound
add texture.
But they're so important.
If you could go back to when you first started DJing together, what would the two of you tell yourselves when you were just starting out? What's one piece of advice you would give your beginning selves?
I would say I wish we had started producing earlier. I was hesitant to it, but like also like I think everything just had to happen in due time. But I think put yourself out there more, start producing more, just put stuff out as much as you can, and because if you don't, then it's not going to happen. But
like don't have a fear of people hearing you lose it.
Fear of failure. You're not gonna like a lot of the stuff that you make. You're gonna have bad sets. You're gonna have songs that aren't the best work, but you just gotta put it out. You gotta be fearless.
You learn from them too.
Yeah, for sure.
Something I don't think I did early on is I was like playing so many like top 100 songs and stuff, like not top 100, but Beatport.
Right. The stuff everyone else downloads on their USB.
And like I had so much stuff on my USB just from like looking around, and I just never played it. And then like once I just started really digging into it, or just like playing the stuff that I listened to on my own,
intrude yourself,
and just like played it out, I realized like our sets were getting better.
If you're not playing what you want to play, you're not going to get the gigs you want. You're not going to get the recognition you want. Right. So it's like, it's just be true to yourself.
Yeah. I mean, just from the little bit of DJing and getting booked from myself, it's like I've noticed there are certain venues and places where I'm like, oh, I feel like I have to play a certain way. That's like, I'm fine with branching out from my own comfort zone.
That is true though too.
That's true. Sure. That's a factor for sure.
And that's a good challenge in some ways, but there are moments where I'm like, this is just not the path I want to go down if I want to keep getting books. Like I'd rather be more over here or whatnot. So, but it takes trying, just like you said, like it takes putting songs out there. It takes like taking that risk and challenging yourself. And maybe it's not 100% exactly the way you want it to be or sound or the vibe you want, but you only figure that out by putting yourself out there.
Couldn't agree with you more. And I think also like one of the reasons we, changed our name and went with DECIMEL, because we used to go by Wizzy and Wiley, and like our discography was like so all over the place. But like some of it was stuff that we knew we were never going to play. It was like we just wanted music out. And I think that was a big eye-opening moment for us too, where we're like, we should have like an identity when it comes to this, like
what? So tell me about this name change.
Yeah, so it was like we had been talking about it for so long.
It was really hard for us to figure something out that sounded good, that we both liked, that like fit the mold that we wanted.
Yeah,
and like we kind of half-assed it. Like Wiley's his like family name, and Wizzy's
my middle name.
What Wizzy was like what people call me in college, and like
so embarrassing.
It just sounded it was a very to us like fratty name, if you will.
Yeah,
and that's not the vibe we wanted to give off.
Yeah.
We just couldn't figure out like you said, we wanted to do. I don't want to give it away. We had a bunch of other options that we wanted, but he randomly just said, DECIMEL, spelled it with an E for the SEO.
Yeah, I did. And then everybody was like, "Oh, that sounds cool." And we were like, "All right, cool, we're done." But it took us 2 months to get there.
No meaning behind it. It was just random. Word that
Tell me about some of the releases that DECIMEL has coming up.
So like you said, we have Twisted Groove coming out on Trifecta. And one of our buddies, Tyler Musliha, who we're actually meeting up with after this, made a remix of it. That's
Great
super
remix.
dope. Yeah,
Nice.
I think he
And-
apparently sent it to Amanda Moore.
Yeah,
who's
we're-
the show we're
that's-
going to tonight. Hopefully she plays it.
Oh, fingers
so
crossed.
We'll see. And then we have like all this other stuff. Like we're gonna be putting out a few more on Imperfect over the next few months. We've got a couple just SoundCloud and Bandcamp releases.
Yeah, we
just
have a cool Too Short remix.
Yeah, yeah, we'll play it today.
Actually, late 80s rap remix.
89, 89, yeah.
So now that it's fall in New York, we're back and we're starting to get back and into our bearings.
Right.
Yeah.
Which track that you guys have coming up soon, each of you, are you most excited about putting out into the world?
Twisted Groove.
Yeah, Twisted Groove.
I think it's probably in terms of like bolts and nuts, like production and like the quality. I think that's probably one of the best songs we've made.
And we made it so quick too. And you know, as soon as we sent it out, we were like, okay, we know like a label's gonna pick this up. I think like a couple of the other
The Too Short one.
the Too
We
Short
also
one's cool.
we
all
took
that
the
yeah.
sample from the show All That.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure if you remember
so-
that.
Yeah, the
Of course.
TLC sample.
TLC.
Yeah. I don't know,
but I'm pretty sure I'm
is so good.
Well,
So
it's like one of those nostalgia things. But it
Yeah.
was like I showed it to like a couple of my friends, and they were like, "This is
Can't believe
why
no one's
has
ever done
one
this." Yeah.
Like, and we were like, "I don't know."
Well, you're gonna have to send me that one.
We'll
Yeah,
play it
yeah,
today.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll send it to
Great.
you.
Lastly, I mean, it's been great to have this little chat with both of you. You know, appreciate you guys coming over here. But where can everybody follow you guys?
So you can find us on Instagram, Decimal spelled with an E at the end, not an A. OFC. You know, YouTube, Spotify, and if you want to check our old stuff out, check out Wizzy and Wiley. We got some cool like Detroit house style stuff on there.
But guys, it was great having you on. I'm
Yeah,
excited to hear your set here coming up.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to that latest interview on Tiny Table Radio. It would help a lot if you hit that subscribe button now so I can bring on more guests and keep this show going. So hit that subscribe button now, and we'll see you next time. Enjoy the set.